All right. The red button says that it is live. So, how are you? How's everyone doing this evening? Trust everyone is having up. Hold on. I always get the commercial, which sometimes they're kind of cool. So, how is everybody? Now, and I have to get myself back into the frame. Hello, Melissa. How are you? Good to see you tonight. Tuesday. How is everyone? So, while everyone starts coming in, Melissa, it's just going to be you and I. Actually, there's 26 of us, so the room just got a lot more crowded. Hello, Deborah. How are you doing? Bruce, hello. How are you, sir? Good to have you. Thank you for stopping by. Thought I'd just kind of do a little fill in. Liv, how are you doing? Joe, good. Bob, how are you doing? Welcome. How are y'all doing here? I got my hot chocolate drink. Actually, it's delicious. You know, chocolate is one of those flavors that they ought to put into the food group. Hello, Jewel. How are you doing? Dwayne, good to see you. Brooke, hello. Mark, Christine, hello. Paul, greetings. Nina, good. Well, hello. How are you? Uh, I need to take that speed reading class, right? Reminds me of a Saturday Night Live broadcast. So, Claudette, how are you doing? Good to see you. Paula S., hello from Illinois. Good to see you. Stefan, hello. Glad to have you all in here. So, as you saw with the lead in, right? And let me share my screen here with y'all. So, this is what everyone is kind of really beginning to get a little freaked out about. Now, I did a story on this. Secure Team 10 did a good story on this. There's actually been a number of them, but we're going to see some in the headline that are still here. So take a good look at this, folks. So this is the asteroid that is got all the scientists scratching their head. Number one, the way that this thing came in, where it came from, and its shape, its trajectory. All of this is what's kind of leading to what's going on here. So, composite size, shape. Now, there's a good word for you there. Porosity, impact, velocity. Now, what makes this so different, and it has some interesting implications as we will see, is take a look at that. That's what we think of asteroids. Now, the weird thing about this is that as I've done programs, and there's a lot of them out there, is we can't figure out the shapes. The shapes are there. Most of them are peanut shaped. The other problem is that we can't see these, and there is more and more and more of them. We just got a haircut apparently yesterday or day before. So when we think of asteroids, we think of them typically round, but they're not always. In fact, we find many of them have some very odd shapes to them. Like, how does that happen? More discovered every day. And so this is the one that we actually recently landed a probe on. And you can see the problem is how it's shaped. They can't figure out how that would occur in nature. And I guess all I can say is I guess they're right. I don't know. Some are perfectly, you know, spherical. Seems like they came with impacts themselves, which is kind of weird. Here's something that we're learning. Asteroids, some are metal. I just saw a story, oddly enough, I think it was in the Financial Times, that there are companies right now raising capital that they have plans of absolutely capturing one of these asteroids. If you happen to hit one, you can get the spectrum on it. You can begin to see the composition. Think about it. It could be solid gold, solid platinum, titanium. Who knows what other kind of exotic metals that are out there? So, the expense and the technology obviously will have to be further refined, be a lot of mistakes in the beginning, but the point is, you capture one of these, you just got yourself, I think one of the estimates I saw was $900 trillion. Go figure. So here's one that was kind of defies, like, well, what happened here? I mean, this is the when you look at through the archives and you see the actual pictures that we've actually captured of these, this one is really strange. I have no idea how something like that would be formed in space. I mean, look at this thing. Does that not look like someone drilled holes? I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying that when I look at this thing, it looks to me like someone has drilled it. And these holes that we see here that I guess are impacts, they're awfully symmetrical. That's all I know. Um, this and the reason why I put this in here is that because when you look at this, check this out. I started looking at this and I'm going, well, now wait a minute. That's really odd. And then you've got this thing, but you got holes perfectly round all over the place. It looks like something just attached itself and was just drilling the living daylights out of this thing. And when they finished with it, they just let it go. That's speculation on my part. Hold on a second. So I don't know. I could be completely wrong on this, but it looks like it to me. I don't know. I'll get in the chat room and see what y'all think, but that is my speculation. All right. So this is the object. So you can see why everyone is going, what's going on here? And it is kind of weird. Some are saying that this could be a possible ship. We get the idea in our heads that we would see a interstellar craft, being made of some sort of metal, and would have an obvious propulsion system and an obvious place for crew. But one of the speculations that I heard was this, is that we wouldn't really know what interstellar space travel would be like. Maybe this is on a voyage, a mission that maybe the absolute right material would be something that we would call rock. I don't know if they've done or have been able to get a spectrum analysis of this so we could determine what it's actually made of. But the shape, the way it comes in, the way it's going out, just makes one think that this is much more than just coincidence. So There we go. I don't know. You tell me, what do you think? Um, Big sexy. Okay, I just read that. That's cool. The Borg scout ship. I like that. Now that just cracks me up. Hello, Soul Journey. How are you doing? Welcome to the evening. Hope you have some hot coffee. Kenneth Thompson, good to see you. Cloak ships. Hey, um, let's see, Chris, what are you saying? These objects are coming in from the dwarf star Planet X solar system. You know, listen, this is my position on Nibiru Planet X. I'm convinced that there is, in fact, a binary twin star to ours. I happen to think as well that there are red dwarfs sitting out there. I think we're about to discover a whole bunch of them. Battleship Galactic. I like that. Hi, Question Reality 777. Good to see you. G Mason, good to see you. Amanda B, hello. How are you? Welcome. So, I don't know. What do you think? Is this really something that is really coming in? Is it really a ship? I don't know. I know something is going on. All right. So I got something else. So I got some, there we go. So get ready. Daily Mail today. Has an alien probe entered our solar system, cigar-shaped interstellar comet? And how would y'all say that? I think I would say that is Oumuamua. Is that how I would? I don't know. Maybe I'm dyslexic. I don't know. Is bringing investigators for signs of extraterrestrial technology. Well, and there she be. So this has really got people. I mean, I guess the guys that are doing all the math, crunching all the numbers, uh, saying, well, this is very different. I don't know. Go figure. But there is more. So check this. So here's another one coming out. Did an alien probe enter our solar system? Listen, I happen to think that there may be strong foundation, folks, that we are in fact encountering. Let me just frame it this way. We know that the Milky Way is consuming, colliding, has been for quite a while. And when I say quite a while, hundreds of millions of years, we are actually absorbing the Sagittarius dwarf ecliptical galaxy. And there are white papers out there that say that our solar system was most likely at one time a part of the dwarf Sagittarius galaxy. We know the Milky Way is heading for the Andromeda galaxy. So I don't know. Are we seeing potentially? I was thinking about this afternoon and asking myself, well, we're so used to what Hollywood has painted for us of what spacecraft would look like, but what would an alien mind do? I don't know. I got a sense that that may not be like us. I don't know. And here's the thing that makes it so weird. Oh, let me see if I can actually open this into a new tab. So here we go. Strange little thing that the way that it's coming in and going back out. Are we seeing something here? No, no. I think so. That's just me. All right. While we're looking at some headlines, so there is a lot of buzz going around on the internet that what we're seeing taking place in California is actually Agenda 21 in full manifestation. And for those of you who don't know who Agenda 21 is, let's go ahead and Google it. Go to the great oracle, Google. That's what it is. Because here's the thing, Jerry Brown is now saying this is the new norm. And these fires that are out there, people are speculating that they seem to be much more intense. It seems to be in areas of more dense population. And something seems to be driving it. Now, let me just say this. I live in Colorado, as all y'all know. I still got the y'all from Texas, just the way it is, folks. So here in Denver, we've gone 68, 69 days now without any snow, measurable snow out at DIA. But the thing that has really gotten me concerned is that except for 2 days last week, we have been averaging about 25 degrees above normal. Now, if you put that into context, that if this was July and we were experiencing these kinds of temperatures, our daily temperatures here in the Front Range would be hitting close to 115, 120 degrees. That's hot. They would say that's Africa hot. So what we have been experiencing here now for the last 2 months is the fact that particularly this high pressure system intensified and sent the winds into California just like a funnel. And we know we get some of those winds up here in the passes ourselves that can reach sometimes 150, 160 miles an hour. So this is just, I can't accept the fact if they're saying that this is the new normal, because what that's implying then, and this is how I see it, is that something has happened to the planet. We get all into the controversy of wanting to make sides. Either you're a person who believes in global warming or you're a denier. Listen, I don't know about global warming because we found them fixing the data. That's the problem. If there really was something going on, it would be hard for many of us to accept the data because we know it's been tampered with. But let's just push that aside. Climate change, the planet changes all the time. I think instead of getting into the debate about global warming, I think we need to begin to understand more about what the Earth is doing that is affecting climate change. And listen, Agenda 21 is a so-called master plan to move large portions of populations and relocate them out of areas that, for whatever reason, someone else has alternative dibs on. Who knows? All right. I wanted to cover this earlier. So actually, I wanted to do it on Sunday, but I didn't get a chance. So again, y'all out there in the Bay Area, Well, in fact, everyone along that whole fault line, so that goes all the way up into the Northwest, all the way into Alaska and the Aleutian Islands. The swarming is continuing. Many times that is an indicator that things are moving, obviously. So 46 quakes in a 24-hour period of time, that's pretty good, folks. Are we seeing this as a cause and effect? We just covered the story and the fires out there. Are we seeing, I contend that we're seeing a greater tilt to our planet. I never could figure out ice ages. And when you study and you get into some of the theories about ice ages, there's a group of scientists that are much more saying, well, now wait a minute. If the Earth does not deviate from the sun all that much, I mean, by a couple million miles, and if we have this orbit, right, that is supposed to be stable, keeps everything in balance, well, there would unless the sun had completely diminished in its solar output, which we haven't seen that, it is in a solar minimum now. Why would we have ice ages? And that's the question I keep thinking. Is it due to the tilt of the Earth? Is there something in regions of space? So anyway, you all out there in California, be hip to what's going on. All right, I got it. I had to bring this in. I really had to bring this in because my videos, I mean, the whole Bloodline Invader series was telling us several things. Number one, there is a bloodline here, folks, that I discovered that has been very well masked. It's quite fascinating. And I can tell you confidentially that the people that write to me, I have gotten people that I can't disclose who they are, but have absolutely affirmed this. In fact, I've got the permission from the individual, going to do a story on Khufu. What the history books are telling us is not quite right. Speaking of which, and I'm not digressing from the subject that we see heading up here, is this. They were asking the publishers, because, every year, school districts around the United States go and they have a number of books that they can choose from. Every school district does. I worked at one time for the Texas Education um, Agency and uh, actually wrote a software program. And anyway, I digress on that. But each year they choose books about how that will be the curriculum that will be in the grades. So just recently, the publishers were saying, get this, that history is changing so quickly, they cannot publish a current history book. Things are changing. I mean, so we come here. Humans will worship AI, Messiah, God robot, religion expected to boom. Now, it's already here. They formed the Church of AI. This Anthony Lewandowski, founder of AI Basis Religion, the way of the future, so people can worship a Godhead robot that is a billion times smarter than humans. All right. Listen, it's a full chat room in here. getting fuller all the time. So that just got me to thinking. Let me ask everyone. I want to actually come in and see how the chat room is doing. So give me a second. Think I can do this? Maybe I can't. All right. So here's the question. What would be your definition to how smart God is? Your definition of God. How much smarter would he be? And you can't say infinitely. That's a cop out. I mean, unless you want to say that God is, infinitely above man's thoughts. Well, oh, but how much smarter is that? Is that a billion times? Is that a quadrillion times? Can it be measured? Is an IQ test accurate? Get back to this. So when I look at this, I began to think, what is it about our species that we have to worship something greater than ourselves? And why is that? It's a question that I ask myself, and I'm asking you, what is it about us that, let's just say, and I'm not saying this as a statement, I'm just using this as a hypothetical. You have to be very careful these days. Um, let's say that there was no God, at least in the construct that we define God. It seems our species invents them. I'm reading the book, The 39 First of What's Samara, and the pantheon of their gods. Now, I'm sure that we're going to find more as we get better at digging, probably an ancient language that goes beyond that. And my point to all this is, we've now advanced to the point that, for me, and I'm just going to speak in generalities, that many find today it very difficult to visualize something that happened 3,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, and bring it to familiarity with what we know today. I mean, you think about a child born in 2018. Think about that child's world. It'll unbe like anything I've known. But then I lived in a world that was anything beyond my grandparents. But the advances now that we're making in technology are so rapidly evolving faster than we can absolutely adapt to. Once the baby boomers die out, we're going to be the last generation that was around before there was a thing called the internet. We saw it give birth. We saw it come into fruition, and I've done the whole thing. So yeah, go figure this one out. And they've given these things citizenship. The strangest story I have seen to date is what it's actually doing to how we see relationships. I'll bring that up here in a little bit. Wanted to bring this out You see, I think that we're living in two different coexisting realities. We're seeing, in one hand, a stock market that is just absolutely going nuts. I mean, when I see what's taking place, it's defying every model, every algorithm. It's defying all history, what we're seeing. What many are now starting to bet against is this market continuing to rise. But here's the deal, folks. Look at this. There is a whole section of millennials that are just flat broke. And what they're finding out is that they're so heavily in debt from college, and because of the stagflation that has been, it's stagflation is the killer to an economy, because there's a natural rise and expectation in prices. And for many years, that's why unions were formed, was to make sure that the average cost of goods did not exceed the ability for the individual, the blue collar worker back, and that's how they were defined back in the day, um, to be able to keep pace with it. Well, the problem is that for the last 8 years, actually, I think it's been more prevalent than that, but I would say definitely the last 8 years, we have been in stagflation. It's basically, we see it not in our paychecks. We don't see it in the cost of living index, but what we do see it is at the grocery stores, et cetera. So I'm concerned about this. I just want to know how many of y'all might be experiencing that. How many of you millennials out there? It seems like they can't find a job unless it's in certain specific geographical areas that keep pace with the cost of living. And what I mean by that, a bachelor's degree is going to run you about, I think today, about $30,000 to $50,000. I think that's the last I saw. So that's $50,000 that you're going to invest in getting a bachelor's degree. MBAs, you know, add another 50, 75 to that, depending on your school, etc. So you can see, if all you're making is less than $20 an hour, in fact, here in the Denver area, it's very difficult to find those type of jobs with a bachelor's degree that will pay $20 an hour. It becomes a very big challenge. And speaking of which, am I good? See how that segue just went in there? Anyway, I kid you. Fired tech workers turn to chatbots for counseling. Made redundant by automation, thousands of workers are embracing the convenience, the being anonymous and affordable of online therapy. I just want to know who's listening, because someone's writing that down, baby. But it shows what's happening here. It shows that, I don't know, when we become more comfortable talking to a machine than we have another human being, OMG. Yeah. All right, here we go. Minority Report, artificial intelligent machine can identify 2 billion people in seconds. I don't know about you, but I don't like that feeling. I don't. So, how many of us are on this planet? What? They say 7.5 billion. I still want to know how they figured that out. But anyway, let's just say, okay, we're getting close to that number. So, if this machine can identify 2 billion of us in seconds, we're all screwed in less than 10. Strange, strange, strange. By the way, how and Google this for yourself, but you will be surprised at how many laws now are coming out on thought. Now, we've had in crimes like murder, premeditation, right? You've given it thought. But I mean, it's like now in some places you can get busted for having a wrong thought. Ay, 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 ay. I tell you what. Now, folks, we need to talk about this one. When the architects begin to say, I want the crap out of here because their own creation, this is what they created. It's what you and I are now a part of. They're saying it's ripping society apart. Well, how many of you in here would agree that we've all seen this coming? But yeah, and it's like they're saying, okay, all right, time out. I don't want any more of this. I want to take it all back. Yeah, the genie's out of the bottle. That's what it would appear. And it's an interesting article because here's the strange thought. Think about this. Fake news. 2 years ago, that term, I never even heard of the thing, fake news. I was in the business. In my video days, I served as president of the ITVA. I was served in the ad club, was involved in a number of professional organizations in the broadcast industry. And, you know, knew the people that were in the news business. I never heard the term fake news. I guess back in the day, there was a standard. There was a ethics that had to be applied to. And I mean, I've seen it from some of the top stations in top markets all the way down into the uh, smaller markets. But they're saying that this is one of the problems, that this is what social media has created, is this phenomenon known as fake news. Yeah. Check it out. It's theverge.com. Good story for you to really take it out. All right, here's one. This is from the Daily Star. Human race over fears conscious killer robots will end our evolution. And I won't get into the rest of this story. Although they pixelated it out, I think we can begin to say that the revolution has started. And it's this very subject now when we deal about how humans are now becoming emotionally addicted even on a intimacy level that is supposed to be with another human being, but now is being replaced by a non-human. They're making laws to begin to protect robots. And yet, there has been no world forum that I know of that where I think we humans need to get our butts in gear on this. And whether it's, listen, I don't know whether, the UN is the proper place for it. I don't want to even get into that. I think, though, that there needs to be an international world forum to deal specifically with the moral and ethical subjects of robots, of artificial intelligence. How do we define an ethical role for a machine? Is there a moral code that should be adapted now for all artificial intelligence and non-human machines? I mean, these are some of the questions. This revolution, this evolution is here. I was with Barbara DeLong last night, and we were talking about this very thing. And we've got to begin to address this. You and I, everyone in this, in the chat rooms, everyone watching this video later. Because at some point in time, it's going to start impacting our lives much quicker. And what this article came in to simply said is that if this isn't begin to be addressed, these things will actually begin to take us over. And this is another article from the LA Times about exactly this fire. And when I was talking to you about Agenda 21, you see how it's all connected, folks? It's where this thing is actually burning. That's some expensive real estate out there, folks, as most of y'all know, particularly you start getting over there into Santa Barbara County. And those folks, and many of them, they ain't got nothing left. Nothing. It was so hot, it actually melted aluminum alloy. I found this one interesting, how these islands are now starting to form and have changed. Interesting story on this. So anyway, let me get back here. So here we are, and let me get back over here. There we go. I'm trying to get two things. So, wow, 206 people watching. It's amazing. Well, so a lot of things happening. And I opened with this whole evening's program with this freaking weird asteroid coming in. Is it intelligent? Does it have an intelligent life? Could it be? But when I begin to think about all the wondrous potential or horror, I happen to agree with Stephen Hawking. He said, we shouldn't be out there waving the we're open, keep the lights on, Tom Bodette. And that it might be best that we kind of keep ourselves, how shall we say, out of the main freeway. Because if there is an intelligence out there, which I believe that there is, I don't know how they'd look at us. I keep on saying, would they all be bipedals? I don't know. It's kind of weird. By the way, folks, tonight, I think it's Gemini meteorite shower. Check it out here in the Northern Hemisphere. It's supposed to be up to 120 an hour. Check that out, and it should be something to see. By the way, Isaac Newton. We all know and dear beloved Isaac Newton. Did you know that he predicted the end of the world? Yeah. Now it shows where these guys' heads were at, right? That I guess it occurred to him that, the end of the world was going to come at some point. Well, anyway, the date that he had predicted was 2060. Someone went back and looked at his calculations, and he actually had the dates wrong because of the different type of calendars. Hi, Jason. Okay. Jill, I'll just everyone's free speech. I think that that's important. So when they did the corrected math, well, it seems like Sir Isaac Newton had the date 2013. So guess what? We're all living on borrowed time. I think that's just funny. Cracks me up. I know. Folks, you have to laugh because this stuff is nuts. Isaac Newton predicting the end of the world. And now he was wrong in his math. This is the dude that figured out gravity, right? And I'm still asking myself, what's gravity? How does that work? I don't know. Because if you figure out gravity, explain to me how the moon is up there. I know we've already talked about that, but nevertheless, it's true. So, yes, IOX, we are in Jeffrey, we are in crazy times. So, while we have everyone out here having fun on this one, because folks, it is strange out there. You have to admit, it's just freaking weird. So let's just really have a little bit of fun here. I had a couple of other things that I wanted to show you. So here is a great website. This is my public service to all of you because, well, if they're going to try to knock us off, let's see what we can do about fighting back. So this is kind of a cool website. You go in here and you can come in here, and in here, I live in Colorado. So what I can actually come in here and do is that I can come in here and I can hit my water district, right? And I can see where the water is and all the different contaminants, folks. This is a website you guys really ought to keep. So it tells me where the bromides are at, right? Well, we're down here, so I'm feeling good about that one. And then it gives me, let's see how much radiation there is down here. So, well, apparently we're getting dosed a little bit more. Rex Bear, where are you, buddy, when we need you on here? We got to figure out how this radiation thing is working into the water. So anyway, and it will actually show you, have we ever exceeded the levels? You can get more data on this thing. I mean, this is like really kind of a very, very cool website. And again, it is ewg.org. And go in there. You can find, again, your state, put it up here, and have fun with it. I don't know if it's that good or not. So while we're all here, let's just see how safe the world is today. This is a great website if you guys want to be able just to see where in the world is Waldo and what is he doing late. By the way, you don't want to go to Madagascar. There is something like big time happening down there. Let's see. Well, whatever it is, it's an epidemic, folks. And this is the one I was looking at right there. Well, anyway, check it out. I think you'll have fun with this. Well, if you want to know where the radiation is in your local area, just click this one on. And what I found out, by the way, living up here, the Mile High City, I'm right about 6,000 feet of elevation. We get dosed pretty heavily here. That's what I'm finding out. And I don't think I kind of like that so much. The site is beautiful, right? But anyway, I had one other for you. I may have gotten it all. Oh, any of you want to know about the boat traffic? This is what I do, folks, in the morning. I really do. I follow this because I can actually see what is going on by just the traffic in general. And as you can see, we got a lot of boats out there, folks. Kind of a cool website. And one last one. Want to know the friendly skies? Well, it's supposed to load up, but I don't think it is. It's crowded out there, I can tell you. And I don't know why it's not loading. Anyway, I digress. So there you go, folks. Let me stop in and see everyone's doing in the chat room. Wow, I can't believe there's so many people here. Well, sorry about that last one. Didn't load up. So there's my story for you tonight. I'm not changing it. I'm telling you, things are getting really strange. 2018, what do you think? Is this going to be a continuation, you think, of this intensification? I sense yes. I do. I sense that we're into something. I love hello, Mr. Anderson. Jennifer, how are you doing? By the way, everyone, just to let you know, I will be on Jennifer's radio show. I think it's going to air on Christmas Day. And I'm going to have Jennifer on here on our show, my show. I say it's our show because actually it is your show. Just don't fire the guy in the chair, all right? That's all I got to say. So crazy times. I swear to you, we've got to stay diligent on this whole AI thing. You know, I don't know how one goes about organizing a world forum where we would bring minds. I would bring everyone in this chat room in the forum, and we would set it what that would actually look like, what AI should be in constraint with. Is iRobot coming to pass? I don't know. When they start saying I, it freaks me out. Well, I'm just going to see what's going on in here. Guys, I'm just sitting here looking at it. Well, thank you. Thank you, Chris. Hey, I'll take all the energy you got to give, all of it that's there. I love the number. By the way, so there's been 222 people watching for the longest time. It's 223. So there we go with those numbers again. It quite amazes me. Folks, get out there and see if you're over on where it's dark, check out the meteorite shower. It should be phenomenal. Tomorrow night, I'll be over there with Jeff's channel. Friday night, got a good program lined up for us. I think we're going to have fun. It should be cold here in Denver, so We'll definitely, I'll bring the hot chocolate, you bring the coffee, and we'll all have down and have a good time. All right, my friends, appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for supporting the channel. It's an it humbles me, and I just I thank you all. I send blessings your way and much love and much thought. We will see each other again real soon. And by the way, it's it's getting around, folks. Do an act of kindness that no one knows about. All right, folks? All right, you're the best in the world. I appreciate you all. We'll talk real soon.